Okay, so welcome to this podcast. I'm Poji, one of your hosts, and these are some of my good friends that I met on the internet. We're going to be discussing some controversial topics that not everyone is probably ready for, but if you're someone that's actually willing to brave into some maybe controversial topics, then you're at the right podcast. Welcome. This is um uh, podcast called
She's acting like a person.
what is this podcast called?
DramaPod!
DramaPod. Welcome to
No,
DramaPod.
Is it called or called? I can't remember.
No, okay.
But
All right. Soren, does that
Yeah,
lie?
good job, Pojam. I think that was supernatural, and I think it really set the tone for a very natural, casual, conversational podcast.
Right. So reporting live from Salt Lake City, we're all gathered here on the DramaPod. Me, Arran, former boxer, professional Ben Shapiro imitator. Got Poji, who's Kermit the Frog's girlfriend / wife. Stubbs on loan from Stonewall, UK, and Aislinn, who's every ethnicity mixed together. Nice topic,
I'm
isn't it?
just a third worlder trying to rise above my circumstances.
It's okay. You've already risen in our hearts like yeast. Today's topics, we're gonna take a moment to introduce ourselves. We're gonna discuss climate activists throwing food at paintings. Is it a psyop? Kanye West and the Shut Up Rising. We're gonna have a guest on, and we're gonna think about, should depressed people be put out of their misery? Like, Belgium's answer might surprise you. And we're gonna have a fun horoscope section. So, Poji, you ready to introduce yourself?
Yes. My name's Pojam. Basically, I got into this community because I started dating a local celebrity called Pizza Shell, and things kind of just went from there. And yes, but I'm very happy to be part of this podcast now.
Stubbs.
hi, I'm Stubbs from the UK. I'm an Aries. I am the most stable gay they could find to fill the token spot for this podcast, and I got into this community because I like drama, and the cat is so cute. It
He
makes
likes
my day.
cocks. Don't let his answer fool you.
Wow! Okay.
Aslan, your turn. Aisling.
So I'm a Leo in Kanakistan. Again, I come from very humble beginnings, and I'm very good at managing virtual Japanese idols, so it's a new talent I've recently discovered. I'm a dramatard because, I don't know, I need an outlet for autism.
I think we all do.
Awesome.
Okay,
Speak.
should we
Let's
take a
go.
moment to introduce our various mental illnesses, or should we go on to the first topic?
I have no mental illnesses. Just put out.
That's
there.
right, except homosexuality. Well, sorry.
I think we should just
But,
list all of
I've
our
been
mental
advised by my lawyer. I
illnesses.
can't say that. Okay, so the first topic is climate activists throwing food at paintings. So you've all heard about it happening the first time when they threw tomato soup on the fucking Van Gogh or the Picasso. Was it Picasso or Van Gogh?
Van Gogh. This is a sunflower
Mhm.
painting.
Yeah,
Sunflower painting.
Demonic behavior.
So do we know, were they trying to make a soup, like sunflower seeds, tomato? That sounds pretty good. Like, I don't what was the angle here?
I don't know, if you look at them, it's this girl with pink hair, she's has her mouth half open, I think they're just really passionate about throwing tomato paste and things,
no, I think the
and
goal is to
being
get attention for themselves.
I don't think so, though, because they're climate activists. They're not selfish people. They care about the community and climate, right?
Yeah, they're privileged little white girls who are getting not enough attention. 100%. I mean, that's all they want to do. They just want to piss more people off, as much people as they can
If
piss
it's a
off. That's
privilege
all
thing,
they're
why aren't they
achieving.
why aren't they out at the club getting their pussy ate and so on and so forth?
Because they're boring. They're upper middle class. They come from rich families. Pretty sure half of them are
like that they're bored.
oil.
Oh, sorry,
hiking.
fact check, it was soup, not paste. I fucked it up. I ruined everything. I'm so sorry, you guys. Anyway, I feel like the
Aisling, you're
fact that
fired.
they're I feel like the fact that they're just defacing classical art just shows that they truly are more compassionate. Stop what?
They didn't deface anything that was glass. It was protected. Ever
Okay,
since
why
the
would
Mona
chuds
Lisa,
put
It's
glass
the
to
vibe
protect?
though.
ever since the Mona Lisa got damaged, every asked calorie in the
Yeah,
world
the
has realized.
symbolism. I mean, okay, it makes it a little bit better if it was protected, right? But the symbol, Mona Lisa was damaged. Is that true?
Yeah, they threw paint on the Mona Lisa. That happened like a couple of months ago.
Who did?
Oh my god, girls, you are so out of date on all this
We're
information.
not cultured enough. Like, you're the gay. You have to just make up for all the culture for all of us. Like,
The Mona Lisa got like attacked like it was like a couple of
oh
months ago.
yeah.
The same
Okay,
stuff,
so
pretty much. I think
the mashed potato incident, is that
that was the Mona Lisa. I'm pretty
That
sure.
was today.
that was Monet, not oh my god, Stubbs. Did you mix up Monet and Mona Lisa?
No, Mona Lisa. When did Mona Lisa happen?
It was a Monet painting.
Oh, I don't know if I thought.
Let me see. I have it open right
Yeah,
here.
Mona Lisa got
So,
caked in the 30th of May.
climate
It looks like-
activists throw mashed potatoes at Monet work in Germany.
I've not
Was
heard
it
about that
damaged?
one.
Okay, yeah, in 1956, but the recent one. Sorry, we
Yeah,
just
you want to know what I think?
tell us what you think, Poji.
Like, okay, why the fuck are these like so-called classic arts so classic and more important than something that someone could do on DeviantArt? Like, if you look at like just basic like Reddit art, like a lot of people
Yes.
are talented artists, but it's only a small number of people that happen to be historic that got famous. Like, okay, the reason Mona Lisa is so famous is because it was stolen repeatedly. So when people do this kind of stuff, they're just adding history to it, making it more valuable. Like it's not like Mona
true.
Lisa's most
That's
beautiful
not
picture
true.
ever.
She's
Well,
famous
classical
because she has
art.
no
So,
eyebrows.
my
Yeah,
response to this discourse is that classical art represents the heights of our culture. And fuck nihilism. I have no use for it. I mean, even if you don't respect it, right? I don't know, like make something better. Don't just destroy other people's shit, you know what I mean?
mean, yeah,
I like what Poji's saying, because when you think about it, isn't it crazy that we will protect our paintings with glass, plexiglass? We will not protect BIPOC communities of color.
BIPOC.
We will not
I feel like
protect
this is like a Freudian slip. You're like, oh, bicocks all up in my asshole.
We will not protect BIPOC communities of color and indigenous and such as with glass, and that's crazy to me.
Wow.
All the brave
mean, they're
trans
not
women of
doing it all.
color.
No, we don't have to. It can be like a one-way glass. It can be like a mirror to them, but to us it'll be a win, or vice versa.
Actually, yeah, I kind of like that idea. Though I shouldn't say this because I'm a white woman and we're known for like kind of objectifying people, but
Ruining
what if we did just,
everything.
like what if we did put them in kind of like a museum and we put them behind glass so we could just observe without having to worry about them like raping us and stuff?
What?
Okay, so
Okay.
what
Okay.
I like
Okay.
the suggestion.
We need to cut
Soren
Poji
can
back.
bleep that out in
Yeah, we're
post-production.
gonna bleep that one. I think it's Poji was talking about other things unrelated
Personal
to the
incidents
topic
in her life.
of
Mhm.
goddamn privileged white women requiring attention and not getting enough of it and throwing paint on paintings, whatever the hell they threw.
It was
Okay.
tomato
It was
paste.
tomato paste, whatever. It was an oil.
Mhm.
I don't know why they did it. Like, was it because it was an oil painting? I don't know why they
They do
Van
beautiful
Gogh.
things. They've chained themselves to trees and like
Oh
lie down in the
yeah,
highway.
they glue themselves. Honestly, the best way to deal with this issue, and I think it would be in the public's interest, I think the public would be behind it, from what I've heard, is that if you just cut their hands off, honestly.
Yeah, like in an Islamic state where, you know.
Stubbs, which public did you interview? Like the Birmingham public?
Nobody like
the Leeds public?
Nobody
think-
likes these people, okay?
Right.
Nobody. Like they're just assholes. No one likes them. They're just doing it for attention. They don't like there's plenty of other places they could actually target where it would make sense. Like you've got those ones at the moment in Germany, I think it is, who are like glued to a bunch of cars or something. Like that makes
Yeah, I
sense,
saw
but-
something about people gluing themselves to the floor or something, and they
Yeah,
didn't think about the fact that they
sure.
might need to get up and use the bathroom. Like these are 1,000 IQ individuals.
Yeah,
like
they're
they're the
not-
ones that need to be writing our policy. They can't even
Yes.
think 30 minutes into the future to realize they might need to get up and take a piss.
Look,
That's a
Um,
very
if you
chud
need-
take. Well, but there was the professor that got he put his hand up on the wall, and then 30 minutes later he had to get it chopped off because the wall because he was getting blood clots from
Getting
the
blood
coke.
clots, yeah. Listen, okay, sacrifices do need to be made sometimes by idiotic people, okay? Running out in
I
front of a
totally
horse.
believe in sacrificing
Yeah,
these
you run out in
people.
front of the horse, you kill some people, and maybe you get women to vote, okay? But you need to not inconvenience the normal man, and that's what, like, doing this at like an art. I mean, the normal man's not an art gallery. It's a bunch of people who like the smell of their own ass.
So
But
it's what you call
still,
the posh people.
it's the posh. But even then,
Push people.
even your working class is going to be annoyed because they're going to be like, "Oh, that painting's a cool painting. This guy
They learned about it in
could
elementary
be
school
praised."
instead of
Yeah,
learning about
exactly.
BIPOC
Yeah.
oppression,
And then
that's
they also
really
think
crazy to
about
me.
the time that like these same idiots were like glued to the road and stopped them from getting to see grandma dying in the goddamn hospital. So like, they're not helping
Right.
anyone. Okay, they need to
Okay,
like.
no. But I have a counterpoint. All right, so there are some people that try to protect people. There are some people that try to protect animals. And then there are
Yes.
people that realize who has never killed anybody? Trees. It's about protecting the innocent. Like
So
trees
trees
are
fall
the
on
only one
people
that have
all
never
the
actually
time.
killed
What are
Yeah,
you
anybody.
talking
Yeah,
about?
I
yeah,
have
trees
a
fall on
lot of
people.
bones to pick with trees that have wronged me terribly.
Yeah,
I don't know about
trees.
You'll just
you,
be walking across and like a pine needle will bear into your skin and it's like,
right?
why?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
trees are violent. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm looking at all this image from like hurricanes where trees
Would you,
are
did you
just
never see Jurassic
massacring
How
Park?
many
Did you see
have
the
you
little
ever
houses,
been
these
chased by
mosquito?
a
innocent
tree?
people.
Have you ever been chased by a tree? No, you want to get away from a tree, you can just run away.
I've had a
Okay,
tree
you can.
fall
Okay,
over
Poji,
whilst
that's
I was walking
fucking.
near it and pretty much chased me. Equivalent, I'd
That's
say.
speciesist thinking because when you look at Jurassic Park, there were these little cute mosquitoes and they just drank the dinosaur blood and they landed on a tree and the tree ate them, involved them with its amber, and they weren't able to escape. So, like, just because you can escape,
Mosquitoes are by the deadliest animal on earth. They kill more animals than any other animal.
That
By
You know
makes
Mosquitoes.
what?
probability.
I resent the characterization that trees cannot chase you because I firmly believe that trees, you have to look out for the quiet ones. Like it's where you least expect it. Then they come out from behind you and they just like attack. You always have to be on your toes, especially when it comes to nature. Nature is
I mean,
vicious.
have you
If
not
you're on your
watched?
toes too much, you'll trip over the roots. So I'm not sure that's like good advice.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. Another point
Yeah, the roots.
towards the danger of trees. So
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry, not
roots
valid, Pojam.
destroy infrastructure.
Thanks for
Terrible.
your input. That was very appreciated.
And Pojam, I think it's not the mosquito, it's the owner. Okay, mosquitoes are no more dangerous than any other species. Like if you don't train your mosquito well, that's on you. You know what I mean?
I mean,
You can't train mosquitoes. They're the vampire of animals.
I mean, it really just depends on
Just
where you
because
live.
mosquitoes cause millions of deaths every year doesn't mean that they're any worse than any other insect.
I mean, it kind of just depends where you live with mosquitoes.
I feel like we're getting into dangerous territory. Are you saying that demographics that happen to cause more
Poji,
deaths?
Poji, stop.
I do. To chill you out. Okay.
I think we can keep
Okay.
that one. That one was kind of funny. So I don't know about you guys,
Should
but
we-
I've had a couple of third world illnesses caused by mosquitoes before. Has anyone else ever had like dengue fever? It's super metal. No, am I the only
No.
one?
I think
No.
How about
that's probably
malaria?
you and
No.
oh.
I get my shots. I'm a good boy. I get vax-maxed. I get my
Imagine getting
shots.
vaccinated against anything.
I get vaccinated against everything.
Is there a malaria
Hello?
shot?
Everything.
I didn't even know that.
Did Kanye get his vaccines? I forget if I read that.
I would be so disappointed if he did. Oh, well, actually, that's a great segue into the second item on our agenda, which is Kanye West and the Chud Uprising.
Chud Uprising. I've never heard of it. Anyone want to fill me in?
Okay, I've got an honest opinion on that. The fact that saying white lives matter is controversial is itself controversial because like why is that like dangerous to say? Like
I have
explain
no
that to me,
idea
please.
why we're laughing right now. This is super serious. I agree. No, white
I'm being
lives
dead ass serial.
matter. So
But black, but do they matter more or less or the same?
okay, so my honest take on this, I think it was Dasha on Brett's DramaPod. She said that she basically just likes the fact that deranged people are having like a voice in the public discourse, and I kind of agree,
Mhm.
because I feel like we self-censor so much. So many people have to practice so much caution and tiptoeing on social media, getting canceled and this kind of thing. Like, I feel like having someone being completely deranged and unhinged, I feel like it's healthy for a discourse. Like, we need a pivot in the other direction. And, Kanye West, I'm not saying it's necessarily good that he goes on and says we should go DEFCON 3 on all the Jews, but I'm just saying we might have needed, like, this is probably an influence that we needed as a society, as a collective,
I mean, he's definitely an entertainer, that's for sure. I love Kanye. Kanye's always been based for the gays.
Did you just say Kanye?
Yeah, I don't know.
I like how he kind of said that he does things based on a feeling, and I feel like
Hmm.
that's the role of our artists, right? They don't necessarily know
Yeah.
why they
Isn't
do
he
something.
schizophrenic? Isn't that the
He's-
reason
He's
that
bipolar, and you know
he's
what? I
bipolar,
feel
yeah.
like the mentally ill have a voice in this world,
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
feel
Yeah.
like we need to hear
So,
them.
speaking of the mentally ill voice, Pojam, like, what are your?
This is what I've been thinking this whole time. So, what would be really fucked up, but also like wildly fascinating to see?
Hmm.
Okay, what if like there was some kind of like time switch thing where Kanye West ended up in Hitler's position for like 3 days and he had to try and do Hitler's job. Like, how much fucking chaos would that cause? And say it's like 1941.
I mean,
Would they let him in? Would they just be like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna be
yeah.
honest, I completely
Give, like,
zoned
body
out
swap
as soon as she started talking, but
I
I'm
don't know.
sure it was fascinating.
I
Okay, no,
know.
I'm
I
saying,
know how
okay,
you think this
listen,
would work.
listen, Ainsley. If Kanye West and Hitler did a body swap for
Did
like
you
3
call her
days, what
Ainsley?
chaos would happen? Like, and not just Hitler as Kanye, but Kanye as Hitler. Like, both of them have to like switch and do each other's job. That'd be like a crazy, like that Rob Schneider
I
movie,
think I
Hot
saw
Chick.
this movie. Like, isn't it like 13 going on 30? Like,
Going
Yeah,
on 30
it
with
would be
Jennifer
like that.
Garner. Well, she's good looking, isn't she?
You got some crack takes going on. I'd like to circle back quickly to the White Lives Matter thing, actually.
Yeah, please do.
Because basically, by you hearing the Black Lives Matter and then getting offended that they're saying about Black Lives only, and that being like, well, White Lives Matter, that shows that you have an issue racially with the whole situation. Because if you really cared about it being the fact that it's a racial, like they're making it racial, you wouldn't then also make it racial. You would say all lives matter. So
that's what people
Yeah,
do,
but
though.
they got
I think
mad at
everyone
that.
does.
So,
But you
does
can't
that.
say
not
all
to
lives
scold them anymore?
matter.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
they got too mad at people saying all lives matter. So it's like,
Well, yeah,
we'll
I mean,
just go
That's
on
the
Philly. Let's say
thing.
white lives matter.
well, no, no, you shouldn't be denigrating yourself down to like that level, though. You shouldn't be like
Well,
going, well, fuck it,
Stubbs,
I'm just gonna be racist then and say White Lives Matter just to piss them off. Like,
But
I
that's not
totally
even
no,
racist. Like, literally, white lives do matter. Black lives matter and white lives matter. Why
well,
not both?
no, I
don't know.
totally take Stubbs' point. My thing is, I feel like because there is such a demonic, ridiculous backlash to people saying all lives matter, I feel like when I feel like when it percolates more and people feel like they can't express themselves, that this just like I feel like it's the predictable result. Like people would be like, "Oh, white pride," and we don't want that, right? Which is why we want people to feel like they can express themselves when they
I don't know if
feel like
Paris doesn't
something
want
is
that.
when they feel like something is off about the BLM movement or whatever.
Exactly.
Like they don't pay their
come down to people
taxes,
wanting to
they
be included.
buy a bunch of mansions in Toronto and LA. Like I feel like there's a lot of things that are underlying
Oh, did
the
you watch
BLM
the fucking,
angst.
did you watch the cloud? Oh, what's her name?
Cloud.
No, I can't remember her name now. She did a documentary, the black Republican lady who none of the black people like. I don't know, American politics.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
Candace
thinking of
Owens.
Clarence Thomas.
Candace Owens, there we
No,
go.
Candace
Candace
Owens.
Owens.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Did you watch her documentary, Milo? Is that what you're on about? The mansion shit and all that?
Which documentary? Sorry, I got distracted by the chat.
Candace Owens came out with one apparently.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I think even prior to that, there was a lot of people digging into the fact that, like, listen, the Toronto housing market is ridiculous. You cannot get anything. These people bought like $60 million mansions, and like, why? Like, like they're so
That's just
not
corrupt.
transparent about stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
and
yeah, the movement is like, okay, no, not the movement. The organization is corrupt as fuck, but like the movement does still kind of stand for something. Like you have what are marginalized communities, like who have been basically kind of sidelined for a long time. Like, of course they're gonna at some point like decide, fuck it, we've had enough, and have a point. And then like when like you see that, and there's like the shit which they have to go through. Like everyone knows about that. It's all throughout our culture. It's all throughout American culture. It's everywhere. Like everyone makes jokes about it. Like every little
Right.
show have little hints about it and shit. Like everyone knows about that shit. Like getting arrested as like getting pulled over as a white guy, just like easy Sunday drive. Getting pulled over by a black guy, fighting for your life. You know, like that shit's like legit. So like of course that shit kicks off. And when your reaction to that and like how they're reacting to it instantly is to just be like, well, I'm not included. Well, my life matters. Hello. Like
Okay, but let me explain something to you.
But
This
that
is something
yes.
that not everybody understands.
Right.
So
That's
basically,
not condescending.
okay, you're from the UK. The
Yeah.
imprisonment rate is so much higher in the US compared to the UK that a
We
white
have
American woman is more likely to be in prison than a black British man, and that's actually
yeah, but we all
statistical fact you can look up.
but we have a very small black population. It's like 3%. But we have what we do
No,
have
I'm
is
saying
like
per capita. Like,
yeah, but yeah, I
if
know
you're
per
a white
capita.
woman in America, you're more
Yeah,
likely to be in prison than a black man in
yeah, but
Britain
there's
because we have such an extreme prison issue.
yeah, but we also have like you have a crazy prison culture, and you also you also have like a ton more white women than we have like black men. Like we don't have a huge black population. What we do have like a black huge population of is
Transgenders.
like Asian. No, not
Oh,
transgenders.
okay. I thought that was
Asian.
gonna go a completely different direction.
No, like what would
Do
like
though. You
in
definitely
UK
do.
we'd
They
call like
like
Asian, which is
don't they
like
like
class
rule
like
your government?
Middle East. No, but like classes like Middle
Okay.
East and all that, and that's where like we really have our kind of discrepancy
It's a
with
long
like.
British tradition to cross dress. Like you read about King Arthur, King Edward. They
Oh
just
yeah,
love
yeah,
to
no, we
just
do have cross dressing is
Monty
a big thing.
Python.
Yeah, cross dressing is kind of a big thing, but like not the cross dressing you're thinking of. Like I cross dress, but I cross dress because I'm a degenerate and I find it fun and it's punk as fuck and it gets me gay.
Cross-dressing is cool. I've done that
But
before.
a lot of people who a lot of like the cross dressing in British culture is just because it's like a funny thing. Like, oh my god, look at me! I'm
Okay,
dressed up like a
speaking
woman.
of cross dressing, we're gonna introduce a
Oh,
woman.
rude.
Ew, fuck. Speaking of cute women, we're gonna introduce a girlfriend. I mean, shit.
No, play that
Thanks.
sound.
Just introduce yourself, baby.
And now for a very special guest, Angst. Hop on.
Hi, thank you for having me. What am I
Hello.
supposed to say about myself?
Where are you from?
Ohio.
Ugh, kill myself.
Don't do
I'm
that.
sorry
Aaron.
to hear that.
Sorry, I was coughing.
Thoughts on
okay.
JD Vance?
What do you think
gonna
about
win.
what's transgenders?
Tim Ryan's a pretend Democrat, but anyway, I digress.
I kind of like JD Vance, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, not to change
I
the
don't know. He's not
topic.
my favorite, but Tim Ryan is
I don't
weird.
have anything against
I
He's
like
like a pretend
Hillbillyology.
Democrat
Like it was
pretending to be a
based.
Republican.
Okay, so Angst, what are your thoughts on
Yeah.
what the fuck Kanye West? Like, is he really schizophrenic or is he bipolar, like people say?
I don't
He
think
said
he's
he was
either of those
bipolar.
things. I don't think you're allowed to diagnose people without.
No, he said he was bipolar.
Wait, can you
Oh.
really trust a crazy person like that?
He also
Of
said White
course you
Lives
can.
Matter.
They do.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's confirmed that he's bipolar.
Yeah, it is. Like it's not like he made it
which
up.
would
He says he
explain-
doesn't like taking his medication
Yeah,
for it.
like, it
Yeah.
would-
Can
like,
we
it-
force people to take their
it's-
medication? Would that be like not okay?
Oh, I mean that was
Apparently not.
Britney's like.
When
I
it
guess,
comes to certain disorders, I feel like it's inhumane that we don't, to be honest. Because things like
depression.
schizophrenia.
Like we should just feed Ritalin. to people.
No, things like schizophrenia where people get to a point where they can't take care of themselves. I feel like it's inhumane to just let them
Yeah.
like walk around barefoot on the street without like
I
talking
think
about how the
ancient-
radio is giving
yes.
them messages.
They used
Sorry,
to put
go
them in
ahead.
these little dungeons. So I was reading about ancient times, and they used to put them in these little dungeons chained to the
Well,
wall.
that's not
and-
good either. But I
That's not-
mean,
Right,
giving
right,
them
it's very
some level of care. I mean, I'm not
I
a
mean-
huge like welfare state person. Well, I am kind of, but like that's something that's where I would be really, really
As an
in support of
indigenous
like
Canadian, support
yeah.
welfare.
Yeah, I mean,
mean-
well, that's where I would be like fully in support of the state stepping in. Like, this is like when you
Well,
get
they
to people
do.
that can't really take care of themselves.
If you get
And
sex-
that's
if you
kind of
get-
off topic.
If you get sectioned, you're gonna get like forced to take your pills. Like that. That's it's not even like an argument. Like that happens. Like
If you get sectioned, what is sectioned?
okay,
C-section or?
no, like
If you get committed, you mean?
yeah, get committed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like if that happened, like that's it. Like they're forcing those pills into you. Like you have no way to fight against that. Like we already do that. Like the question is whether like it's right to do it to someone who's free and out and
Person
about,
of
like-
color.
No,
Well, I
not
don't think
person of
bipolar
colour.
would like fit that
But, like-
that level though, like
someone like
schizophrenia.
Kanye when they're like being manic like they are right now and all that. Like, do you really want it where like the government can decide? Oh yeah, this guy's like become.
It's
an
funny you say
issue?
that because Google, who is pretty much a wing of the U.S. government, well, I've been advised by a lawyer not to, they ban. So actually, you can have anything on your Google Drive. You can have like, I don't know, the craziest shit on your Google Drive. But as long as you have that Kanye video, they will literally like Google will send you a message saying this content was taken off your Google Drive for
Yeah,
like misinformation.
that's kind of like
Wow.
it is.
Yes.
It's a gray area. It's kind of like not good, but again,
It's like, is this really like the bridge you want to die on, Google? You
well,
know?
yeah, but I think like
You can have a picture of like the no like what is it, the New Zealand shootings, the video of the New Zealand shootings, but you can't have Kanye. Like,
yeah, well, that's the issue with the whole like that's the whole issue with cloud storage is like it's not your storage, it's theirs, so they can do whatever the fuck they want with it.
Yeah,
Like,
that
what do you
reminds
think?
me, we should
Should
probably
Google
be
be allowed? Hmm?
if you say the loud part like if you say the quiet part out loud like Kanye's doing, like, and you fucking start like accusing a bunch of powerful people of being like fucking devils
Are
and
you trying to
Satan
say that
worshippers
Jewish
or
people are
whatever.
powerful?
No, I'm not trying to say Jewish people are powerful. I'm not going to stroke
Are
your
you
ego
trying to
like
say
that,
Jewish
Aaron.
people are not powerful?
And
I'm kind of Poji. Angst.
Uh,
Hear me out here. Like, is this okay? What he's saying?
I mean, no, I know you're joking around, but I'm gonna keep it 100. I think that Jewish individuals are not
Oh,
powerful.
Jesus
but
Christ.
Jews as a group are powerful. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking going
Oh,
mask off.
fuck.
Like I'm trying to do the whole thing.
That's not like necessarily a negative thing though. Like if you have a specific group that has high social capital amongst themselves and they perform well in society. Well, what do you think,
It's very
Angst?
problematic to say perform well in society because you're using whose metrics? You could be using white supremacist
Oh, I did
metrics,
want to
like-
like expand a bit, but I don't want to monopolize too much. So what do you think, Angst?
He's just not here right now, so
I kind of zoned out a little bit, to be honest.
Okay.
What do you think about, okay, is it problematic to say that people who happen to be Jewish have or happen to have a proportionate or disproportionate amount of various things in society?
No, that is a statistic by itself.
Statistics are math, and math is racist.
No, only by the people that think everything's racist.
Mm.
You know what I don't get?
You can make an observation. You can make an observation that compared to other groups, like if you do racially, I guess ethnicity, if you like include Hispanics, Jews, you know, the amount of wealth, you can compare that kind of thing. I mean, you're not making a statement, you're making an observation about the data. That's not racist. If something exists, you're allowed to state that it exists. Anything beyond that is your opinion. It could be racist, but you could say, you know, if you're expanding beyond that and you're saying it's because they're Jewish that they're doing this, then that would be more racist. But stating an observation is not racist at all.
I think a lot of people would disagree with you there, and Pojan, for example, has many times told me that observations are racist, right, Pojan?
No, what I said is that, like, being racist is being. Like, here, I'm an extremely racist person, even though I don't want to be.
Jesus Christ.
I naturally like sort people.
How much
into
of this are we
boxes.
gonna edit out?
I feel bad about being super racist, but I'm super fucking racist. And yeah, I don't really know what to make of that.
I just want it to be clarified on this
On this
panel
increasingly racist podcast.
on this panel right now. We have
Yeah.
a Middle Eastern Jewish man. We have a black
lesbian
woman. We have a gay white man, and then we have a racist white woman. Okay, so if
Wait,
you
but
want
I'm racist.
and
our
Ireland.
special guest, a nice normal white woman.
Okay,
That's
but
so
like
sweet of
my
you.
ancestors were from Ireland, they were also discriminated against. So it's like I'm also like.
Wait,
Oh,
a
yeah,
person
but
of
okay,
color.
whoa. Okay, wait a
Poji,
minute.
Can you explain what you mean? Like when you say you're sorry that you're racist, why would you say that? Why do you think you're racist?
Because I feel like
Is
you're
this
kind
really
of
the
scared. Okay,
fucking?
basically because I used to work at a job where like people would come in with guns and stuff, and when like an older white guy came in with a gun, I'd be like, okay, whatever, doesn't matter. But I thought to myself, if a fucking young Mexican came in with a gun, I would be flipping out. I'd be thinking I'm about to get robbed. It's like you learn patterns to pick up on of like when you're in danger and when you're not, and it's impossible not to be racist if you want to. Like it's part of like the human self-defense mechanism. Like you want to protect yourself, you're
Okay.
gonna end up being kind of racist.
Well, so then, I mean, Poji, I mean, saying that you're racist, though, I mean, are you saying that you're, like, there's anybody on Earth that's less racist than you?
Yeah, there are people that are more and less racist than I am. Like I was really like non-racist when I was younger because I was stupid. But like over the years, you learn how to protect yourself. And you learn how to like look at different science of stuff to look out for. Here's what I get about Jews though. How is it that you know that your own ancestors were like extremely discriminated against, and then like sometimes there are some Jews that turn around and they discriminate against others? Like, do they not see the irony?
Anybody can discriminate against
Whoa,
anybody.
wait a minute, Pojum, are you about to say that when you were just literally about to talk, like, you're talking about how you're racist, and then, like, not 5 minutes ago, you were like, my ancestors were Irish, though, by the way, and they were discriminated against.
I mean, it's the same thing, but there is so much irony there when it's like, on one hand, like, but the thing is, I don't like internalize, like, oh no, my ancestors were victims. Like, I don't think of it like that. But Jews, they think of themselves as like
You just said
victims
you
because
were
their
Irish.
ancestors were victims. Right, but I don't like internalize that and think of myself as a victim. Whereas Jews, they think of themselves as victims because their own ancestors were just subject to discrimination, but then they turn around and they're like racist against other people. So it's like, how does that make sense? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
anyway.
That sounds very stereotypical, in my opinion. I mean, because you can't, I mean, you're assuming that you know what Arran thinks and feels, for example, or Arran or any other Jew, and I feel like that's a little bit unfair.
I mean, well, they got all these like Holocaust movies and shit. Like my impression is that Jews are very
Well,
good, but they're like
Did Arran do anything to, you know, support those Holocaust movies? Did he ask for them to be made? Did he
No, not him
express
personally,
support?
but like
He
I'm
didn't
saying
even
my
show
impression
them
of
to me
Jews
as
in
a goy.
general.
That is true. I have not shown her any Holocaust movies. Although, actually, we did watch one movie about a pogrom in Wales. Pogrom?
Okay, true.
Pogrom? We watched a movie called Solomon and Gaynor, which was about a Welsh woman who falls in love with a Jewish boy and they
That
have a
was
baby.
actually very depressing.
It was very sexy because they had a baby.
Well, okay, I found it depressing, but I guess Arran found it sexy.
Okay, so technically me or the Jewish guy in the movie died, but it was like very like
I mean,
he walked like towards the end, like, sorry, spoiler alert. He like walked through the elements to get to her, and then he like almost immediately died.
Was this a Holocaust film, you say?
No.
Okay.
it was about a pogrom in Wales in the 1910s, I believe.
Oh, that poor guy, Wales.
Yeah. Something like that. Anyway.
So it wasn't the death of like pneumonia that killed him, it was being in Wales.
Yeah, I mean, that would kill me. I can see Wales from my house, and it honestly ruins my morning every time.
What is it, like a series of hills? Like what do they live in? Wait, isn't Wales where the hobbits are from?
No, that's the Shires, which is kind of more where I live, I guess.
I think Canada has shires too, no?
Yeah, but I'm not too sure if Tolkien ever went.
Do you have shires in Canada? Pasley, Ainsley. What's her name? Ainsley.
Oh.
Shires in Canada. What are you asking?
Sorry?
Shires in Canada?
Toronto has shires, no?
Shires? Like places with Shire in the name? What do you mean?
Yeah, like Pembrokeshire and Toronto.
No, we don't have that, unfortunately. We have York. I think half of the place names.
Canada. Right.
Yeah, I think half of the place names in Canada have something to do with an original British name.
It's in Vancouver in Canada.
I think we have Brighton, we have London, we have...
Isn't there a Vancouver in Oregon too, Poji?
In Washington.
Portland.
Hmm?
Vancouver is in Washington. It borders Portland, but it's not in Oregon. It's in Washington.
I think one interesting thing about Canada is they like to practice euthanasia, which for a long time was considered very looked down upon the Western community. But nowadays it's like, nope, we're just gonna euthanize whoever. Like, I mean, kind of segueing to our next topic.
Yeah, so it's fucked up. Recently, a fucking 23-year-old woman with depression who was physically healthy was euthanized, surrounded by her friends and family. And it was like illegal euthanasia in Flemland, whatever, like wherever the Flemish people are from.
Netherlands. Wait,
Belgium.
Belgium.
Belgium, yeah.
Yeah, that happened in
Yes.
Belgium. Another case.
Did you say
like,
Flemland?
I don't know where the fuck Flemish
Do you
people
mean
are. but
Flanders?
No,
Yeah,
it's
Flemish people are from Flanders.
And then,
Flemland.
and then,
Finland.
yeah, there was that. There was another situation in Canada recently, I think, as well, which is pretty much the same thing. Like, young, depressed woman
Yes.
just like popped up on a million different pills, which honestly making the
Yeah,
situation worse.
and you know, a lot of them have like Munchausen by proxy and stuff like that, and it's like, you have all these diseases. Like, what do you want us to do with you? I mean, like, I sympathize for like not killing them. Like, come on, like, I mean, at a certain point, you have to take the patient's wishes into account, and if they're like, listen, I have ADHD, OCD, diabetes, learning disorder, and you know, and not that there's anything wrong inherently with any of these things, but at some point, you know, at a certain point, the person's like, I want pentobarbital in my veins, like just like kill me, fam. And you know, at the hospital, like I don't know, What are you guys' thoughts?
I think
I say
it's
hell no.
this is some like eugenics levels of shit. This is fucking the only
Eugenics.
whatever. I'm pretty sure like I don't know, maybe I'm not too sure about Belgium or Canada too much, but I think they both have socialized healthcare. So at this point, I'm thinking it's just a way for them to save money. That's the only
Like,
reason
here,
to see doing this shit. Like you're not like
yeah,
the whole point of healthcare is for
completely agree.
healthcare. Like you're not meant to just be like, okay, here's how we're gonna fix you. We're just gonna fucking knock you off. Like that's not
Yeah, when I was investigating that article, one of the craziest things that popped up was apparently the Hippocratic Oath, which used to be mandatory, is optional now. Like a doctor can literally say, like, no, I don't support the Hippocratic Oath.
that's not true. That's
Yes.
gotta be fake.
Yes, yeah, it's
What
not
in
mandatory.
what in Canada?
Well, yeah, somewhere. Like I think it was Canada or like UK or some shit like that.
Have some compassion. I think if I lived in Flemland, I'd also want to kill myself. So,
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You have so much phlegm from the tuberculosis. You're like,
God, it's disgusting. Imagine just trying to navigate through your life.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's like I feel like
Hmm.
people have this expectation of for their lives that is setting them up for failure, and it's pretty
That's
sad.
so true. That's so true.
I mean,
I
it
think it's
does.
gonna be perfect.
Or they think that the purpose of life is happiness. And,
I mean,
Pleasure. I would say pleasure.
and life is hard, right? Yeah, pleasure. Yeah, nonstop cooming for sure.
I
Mhm.
mean, like that's the thing, right. Maybe if you're like you've reached the age of 50, okay, you've been unsocial shut-in for like your entire life. You're an incel. You spend all day posting goddamn
Stubbs,
stuff on.
Yeah, you
don't
should
be so
probably kill
Stubbs.
yourself if
Don't
you're
be
an
so hard on
incel.
yourself, bro.
But
Don't do it,
I am very far away from an incel. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. We can't slander a representative for the gay community.
Yeah, thank you.
Isn't
Have you got your
28
monkeypox shot yet, Stubbs?
I have had my monkeypox shot. Thank you
Oh,
very
you're so
much.
responsible.
That's so
Yeah.
responsible.
Okay. I just wanted to chime in a little bit on this one. This one's, I think it's kind of amazing because Canada is, I mean, they've always been kind of a little bit more, you know, they're like the US, but like the more liberal US, you know, socialized healthcare. But I mean, I'm trying to do a little research here on the fly, but I think that they have, at this point, the most, should I call it permissive euthanasia laws?
Yes,
Where
You mean
you don't
promiscuous?
even, I mean, you can be suffering from a mental health condition, you know, you can be a minor, and you can just sign up to die. It's kind of messed up, and it's like you could have people who are disabled and don't even fully understand what they're doing who could sign up to do it. It's it's pretty extreme. They even have this site. While I was looking, I found they have dyingwithdignity.ca. Literally a website about it.
Yeah.
And their main thing is blah, blah, blah. On Wednesday, March 17th, 2021, after a year of debate, discussion, and delays, Bill C-7 received royal assent and became law. Blah, 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 blah.
royal ascent, so like King Charles, Elizabeth. or
Yeah,
whatever they call
Yeah, like the
Clearly I need
governor
to look into-
general.
it.
Clearly, I need to look into these laws. I don't remember them having
Okay.
a royal thing. But
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I have a question because I have a theory we've got quickly right now.
Is Queen
Aisling,
Elizabeth. Okay, this might be
I
the
want to
last.
hear Stubbs'
can you
theory.
can
Thank
you
you.
can you quickly check the website out for me? Okay.
yeah, I
The
got it on
Dying
here.
with Dignity Canada. Okay. Can you just like boot that up for me quickly? I
Here,
need
I can
your
stream
like.
it for you right now.
Okay.
Gotta
Yeah. I need her to see this.
You need it. Okay.
Right.
Well, they're stressing
This
it's.
this old woman on front and center.
And
Is
look,
that
they
by any
have
chance?
people smiling. What the
Is
fuck?
that this old woman I'm looking at on the front and center? Is that by
That's a
any
man.
chance a native descendant? Oh wait, is it a man? Wait, what's? Oh
What
no,
is
no,
it?
you got a different. No, you got a different one to me. This is the one I got.
Oh, do I? Wait, which?
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. The one I got is Get the Facts on MAID. MAID is the
The
medical
one-
assistance in
In dying.
dying.
Right, I've linked
Yeah.
it. There we go. Right, you see the old woman? Okay.
He
Um,
looks Chinese.
Is she, by any chance, of native descent?
you know,
Because
they both kind of do. Maybe this is like a
Because
native.
knowing Canada's history, I'm just saying, this might be like their final solution.
Oh,
Like
that's true. That's true.
they have a terrible history with.
Well, they both look like they would be ethnic or
Uh,
BIPOC.
Okay, it's kind of okay. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's very like not okay for you to assume that someone's ethnic just based on how they look.
I mean, yeah, that's why I was
Well,
asking
that's what I assume
for
Somebody could
Aisling's.
be complete. Somebody could look completely white and be ethnic, or
That's a
look
good
completely
point.
black
Yeah,
and be
true.
white. Okay?
I'm
You can be a
just-
black white supremacist. Carry on.
I don't know. I don't understand how it could even get to like this point. Like it's you have to be really, really in a fucked up situation to like for this to even be something which you should be like contemplating. Like honestly, you shouldn't even you yourself shouldn't be in this like the ability to be able to contemplate it for it to even be like on the table for you. Like if you're able to contemplate, should I have myself killed by the state? Like it should not be that should not be a choice which you should have. Like if you're
What about if somebody's like really like okay, let's say they're dying, like you said. So Hank said that coal miners are being targeted by this. So you have a coal miner, he's dying of black lung. Maybe he's suffering from climate change. Maybe he's had coronavirus. Why shouldn't he be allowed to terminate his pain? Does that make sense?
So
He's-
that
he's-
was
People who were
what the original law said. I mean, the original law was related to, having like a serious medical condition, a terminal medical condition, and then they removed
Sure.
that part and they expanded it. That's the controversial part. I mean, it's already somewhat controversial, to have, assisted suicide. But I mean, that part is, you can find places in the world. But this where it's like they've got a guy, Alan Nichols. They had an AP article a while back, who was put to death essentially by the Canadian state in 2019. And he only cited hearing loss as his condition. He was 61 years old, and his family, was rebelling. They were trying to stop it, and I think it happened within like a month and a half. And he signed up to be killed, and he was killed.
Sure.
There's a concern also for
Was death-
psychiatric patients that are suicidal, where instead of getting them suicide help, they sign up for suicide, which is not really what they intended, I'm sure.
I mean, yeah.
been the argument from the beginning, though, is that if we just allow people to kill themselves because they're in intense pain, then it's like a slippery slope. And I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, like, I think we basically just like dope people up who have like really painful diseases like cancer, and we just like wait for them to die.
But we
But when
live
it comes
in a
to,
humanist society. Like the whole point of a humanist society is that human life is sacred. If anything, the most sacred thing, and that you shouldn't.
Yeah,
kill
no, I'm
people.
not arguing that that's correct, right? But I feel as if once you try to argue that, you should just get to decide to kill yourself, it's kind of like you're crossing that line, right? You're deciding that there isn't an inherent value in life, right? Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the chat.
I understand what you're on about. Maybe it is a slippery slope. I don't like slippery slope arguments because they're always used to target me. But
mean,
It's
especially
not.
if it
It's
comes
not.
to
It's
people
not
who are
our
just
fault.
really distraught. Like, they need further supports.
I
Like,
mean, yeah,
not to
that's
be
the thing,
freaking
like,
killed,
I mean,
right?
Stubbs,
yeah.
it's not our fault that your rear end is so slippery and easy to
Okay.
make its way
That's-
into. Like,
No, that's not what I was hinting at. But anyway, I don't know. Like, I mean, I've had like moments in my life where like I've been like, depressed or whatever and shit, and yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like this is gonna be like
Hmm?
you get these issues with this in healthcare where if it becomes like an easy solution, you're gonna have people who just like start pushing towards it no matter
It's
what.
like, so like people think that obese Americans and smokers like that they take up all the healthcare money, but they actually don't because they die sooner. So in a way, it's cheaper to have them be like that so that they don't end up with that like being in their 70s and 80s and using so much
Pojam,
healthcare like resources. It's
so
like
what
that.
I'm hearing, Pojam, is that we should just all consume the corn syrup and just put ourselves out of our misery.
I'm saying
The
utilitarianism is
yeah.
awful. Like it's the idea of the least suffering for the most people, but it's like, okay, if one person suffers acutely so much and everybody else like does great, then that's not as bad. I mean that's not better than everyone suffering a little bit. Like let's not leave anybody behind. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we just because it's like cheaper overall, and that is exactly as Stubbs was getting at. That's what happened to this young woman. They decided that she was going to cost more in the long term, so let's just get rid of her now.
Yeah, I
Like,
feel like
they-
that is like a
like the one
pretty
from
good
Belgium,
point to bring up.
they had her loaded up at the end on like 11 different drugs. Like at a certain point, you have to like.
I mean,
They either had
that's not necessarily like good either. Like,
no,
maybe
that's
her
what I mean. That's
treatment
what I mean.
I
sucked,
think I read
right?
about her. So this was the
Yeah.
actual story. Like she was just a random like girl growing up in Belgium, and there was a terrorist attack in Belgium, and she
Yes.
happened to be spectating it, and she just got PTSD from that, and she just like, I want to kill myself.
Yeah, basically she got some trauma from that, I believe. She had issues before it, from what I saw. But yeah,
She was already
she
mentally
was
fucked up, but
yeah,
they
she was
decided that the solution to that is let's give her as many drugs as possible. What could possibly go wrong?
yeah, and
And
then that
it was
worked.
that she was on so much meds that ended up being what caused her like such bad depression. I still why the okay, here's why she had a good reason to kill herself. Nobody fucking loved her. If she had people that loved her, she wouldn't have been
That is
surrounded by her so-called friends and family.
Yeah,
And she
it
was like,
does come
yeah,
down
it
to
is kind of
like
true.
it does come down to like your social
no.
your social circles, right?
You
Like a
say
lot of
that.
people don't have that.
Yeah, but you say that, but like you can like keep healthcare. Like the problem with this being like a healthcare thing, you can keep that shit locked away from people. Like I've had like surgeries with no one knowing that I had them. Like that
Mhm.
shit. Like you can easily hide that you're getting like mental health care, and then like you can like
Stubbs, do you hide from
sign up for
partners the
this.
fact that you're taking PrEP?
No, I advertise that freely. That is on the front
Interesting.
page of my Grinder. Like
I will
Grinder
have to visit you.
Grinder
Yeah.
has an option to
Hmm.
dictate like your HIV status, and you can put on that as well that you're taking PrEP, negative taking PrEP. I think it says. Okay, I can't remember. I've not changed it for years. But
Yeah, that's how you show that you're DTF, that you're ready to go. That's
I
how
think
all the sexy boys do.
that's like the easiest way to say hello. I'm a slut. So it's the slut drug. But no, but like that's the thing, right? When you can like do it all privately or whatever,
Mhm.
and have it all basically hidden, and then just one day your family wakes up and the government's taking you out. It's not a good system. I don't agree with it. I don't.
Go ahead.
So
I don't
anyway,
like.
just a segue from
I just
gay
want to add
thing.
one last thing. Can I add just one last thing? Well, I guess it's just in my experience, I feel like, there's the right to life, and you always imagine, people where it's like, they're on like all these machines and, they're never going to wake up and, they're on all these medications, but that's already permitted, at least in the United States, to have, to turn off the machines, essentially. When my father, passed away in the hospital, I mean, that was part of, we turned the machines off. And I mean, that's not considered assisted suicide. It's just considered like a natural mercy thing. And I feel like in a lot of cases, people think that like that's not allowed. And that's literally not the case. And especially in the case when the government's paying for it. And in our case, our insurance had already decided to drop us. So we had insurance, and then it was in limbo. But it's just, I mean, eventually the expense does become a thing, and it's already a thing. And you have to. I mean, you know, I would have kept fighting if there was any chance he would wake up from it, of course. But it's like, you know, at some point, you know, when they have multiple organ failure, you know, you're already able to
I mean,
pull the plug, I guess, is what.
yeah, I guess I see what you're saying there, but like, I would say there's a big difference between someone who's basically already dead and is being kept alive by machines, and then someone who is like
Mentally
alive,
dead but physically alive.
like they're alive. But,
Well,
like,
absolutely, absolutely. I guess my point is just that
fix
people,
them.
a lot of times it gets passed under the, you know, the idea of this person that's like brain dead and, you know, can't do all these things, and they're just keeping them alive and spending tax dollars. And it's not like that. I guess that's my only
Right.
point here. But I know, I mean,
Okay.
obviously, you know, somebody
Well,
who's
well,
not
Tax dollars is a
talking
big
to you
part
and
of it,
everything,
I
it's very
guess.
different.
I mean, I don't
Right.
pay taxes, so I have a very liberal view on this.
Maybe you
but, like,
shouldn't
if
admit
I
that freely on here, but
if
okay.
I was paying
A lot of
taxes,
people don't really
my view
like
might
it.
switch. You know, maybe I might be like, okay, this guy's costing me money. Yeah, just send him to the goddamn suicide booth. Like, money is definitely, I feel like, a big motivator for this. I don't, I don't.
And just to touch on just one last thing with Poji, what Poji was saying, I mean, end of life care, regardless of how healthy you are, whether you're obese, whether, I mean, you have cancer or whatever. I mean, end of life care is very expensive.
I mean, yeah, exactly. That's why it's like, at a certain. Here's
It
what's
just doesn't
fucked up
matter.
though. Like, there have been people that have woken up from comas after like 30 years. Like, what if all those people that like we just like pull the plug on, like, what if it turns out that they actually could live longer, but it would just be like way too expensive for society to keep them alive for like another 30 years or whatever on the chance that they might wake up.
But that's
So we
very
just kind of
always-
pretend there's no hope
It's
left.
always scary to imagine that kind of thing. And I mean, initially my father was in a coma as well. And I remember, I mean, it's not like you'd expect. I mean, coma people, they can be in a coma and still kind of do a lot of things as if they're awake. It's really strange. It's not straightforward like they show in TV shows.
Yeah, you know, this is getting kind of very heavy and sad. But
Yeah.
on a
Yeah,
more
you're right.
note,
It's going
Keep it
let's talk
funny, you
about
guys. This
zodiacs,
is
horoscopes. So,
Okay, I was trying to take it to a deeper level, almost like Joe Rogan, but I think I went a little too heavy there. Okay.
no, I think getting
Yeah.
heavy is fine as long as it comes back to something funny. You know.
Poji, what's your horoscope?
Oh my God, we
I'm a
need to
Virgo.
get
I
rid of
don't
that
know what
soundboard.
Virgo's horoscope is for this month. Let me look it up.
Stubbs, what's your horoscope? Tell us, laddie.
My horoscope today. Apparently, there is magic in the air for one and all, but in my case, it's magic of the most alluring kind. You can call in sick, can't you? You've got better things to do, whether you know it or not. Well, I don't work,
You
so
called
I'm gonna.
and got your
I,
pussy
I,
blasted? Is that
I,
what I'm getting here?
I'm staying pure at the moment for a very special guy, so no, I'm not gonna do that.
Oh my goodness, are you re-virginifying?
I
Re-purifying? I'm so
Well,
proud of
back,
you.
how long
I'm
does
not-
it take to
no,
grow
no,
back nowadays? Like
No,
3
I'm
weeks?
not. I'm not
Yeah,
re-virgifying.
I think you can
This
just
is-
stitch it back together.
No. This man's a big man. I cannot be re-virgifying. I need to get ready for him. Okay.
I don't know. I think it'll make
Otherwise-
it more special, you know?
No, an anal fissure does not make anything special, honey.
Ooh.
Okay, you do not want that.
Don't have a
Okay?
lot of experience with those, gotta say.
I just don't want to have like the pox or the fucking AIDS or whatever up my hole. Okay.
Well, good for
when he
you.
arrives here. That's
Yes.
why I'm doing it. I'm being a safe good boy. Although I've never actually had a disease. I'm clean as far as I
Right.
know.
I
apart
would
from,
hope
like,
so,
Cox,
right?
obviously.
Yeah. Intestinal
mean,
parasites,
Drama
maybe.
disease.
Me and Stubbs share a zodiac, so Inks, do you want to share?
Am I sharing my zodiac or your zodiac?
Yours.
No. Yeah, we've already
Oh,
done
okay.
that.
Mine is actually pretty exciting because
Wow,
apparently my lucky
jeez.
time is in 17 minutes.
Ooh.
There you go.
Oh.
Congratulations, you've just been awarded the trust and respect of a certain higher up who's known for being extremely picky about that sort of thing. Now go do some celebrating. You've earned this. I think
That's
this
me.
higher up is Arran.
That's me.
Oh my God.
So I think that's a positive thing.
Not to go into too much detail about how she earned my trust and respect.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. I don't think I did that today, but anyway.
Milo? Serious.
Okay, so Leos,
All the Leos out there.
my fellow Leos. We were extremely charming yesterday, and will be even more devastating today. Oh wow. You know, that's true. I definitely feel like I had, you know, even before I read this random collection of words, this definitely resonated with me, and it definitely
It's
didn't
called a
just...
horoscope, Milo, and it predicts the future.
Yeah, so once I start talking, my soon-to-be fans will be lining up around the block. I can relate to that. My lucky number is 93.
Ooh, that's a good number.
Interesting.
I didn't even look at the number.
My lucky time is 6 p.m. Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah.
else to say. I'm just blown away, horoscopes.
I have
So
a
here's-
Poji,
you don't care
yes.
for horoscopes.
October 23rd, 2022. Someone you've been expecting to call might not do so today. Virgo, and this could worry you a little. Don't be shy to pick up the phone and call. Your friend may have overslept or been too overwhelmed by work or family life. You haven't been forgotten. If you phone, this person will undoubtedly be glad to hear from you. After the conversation, go for a walk in your neighborhood. I know exactly who this is about, and I will be giving him a call after this.
Is it bio?
Yes.
I love how you read that off like when you get like the adverts and then at the end it's
Good
got
for you,
the
Poji.
at the end of the advert it's got like the
I think
quick
that's
read.
the horoscope
Mhm.
spirit. I think we all have a lot to learn from you, for sure.
Yes, and horoscopes in general.
Oh,
They say that
People
astrology is the
true, but
oldest
it's like-
science.
Like literally, like look up like physics. Like there's like stuff about like basically. So,
It's
like,
called physics. Look it up.
yes, it's true. Like physics works. We're like okay. So the scientist guys figured out that if you look at a certain like thing, then the molecule, no, like the atoms act differently than if you're not looking. And it's like that. Like if you look at your horoscope and you like believe it, like things change. Like it definitely does have like an effect on like reality.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's
Yes.
like the placebo effect. I mean, I don't know. I feel it's
Yeah.
like writing in your journal, right? Like if you sit down and take some time to reflect on yourself and
Mm.
your day, it does have an impact. Like even if it's like minuscule, it's something, right? And
But
I
it
think
goes
if people
beyond
get
that.
joy from their horoscope, then more power to them.
But
Mhm.
it's not just
I think
mental. Like
it's
they actually have
isn't
proven that it's like life is basically works the same as a video game, where if you observe something, like the atoms act differently than if you're not observing it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure that's how quantum mechanics works, but yeah, maybe.
Like the atoms never touch. Like you've never touched
No,
anything because atoms never
no,
touch each other. It's all in your
no.
head. Do you get what I'm saying? Like we
Oh,
make up this world.
no. No, I love you, Poji, but no. But,
I'm not a physicist, but that's what the scientist
yes.
guys say. So
Uh,
Why don't you ask Pizza Show about that?
he knows nothing about physics.
This has been a very scientific podcast, you guys.
Yes.
What do you
So
think?
everyone,
Yeah.
thank you so much for tuning in to episode 1 of
Yes.
DramaPod.